It sounds like I believe you, but I'm not sure.
But we're talking like billions.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what you do at that level, right?
Right, and so I'd like to think that I have these principled stands that I take.
I know.
But I've never been offered that type of money either, so I can't.
I have.
You have been offered billions.
Yeah. I was offered $1 billion to go play with LIV.
Oh, you were?
But they wanted me to, well, in general, I've been offered deals like that before.
Okay.
And I've said no.
Well,
I wish. No, you're right. I mean, we don't know.
We don't know.
We would hope that we would be as principled, at least stand our ground with what we believe in.
Hi, this is Ursamin's podcast, Unlimited Access. My name is Levi.
Hi, I'm Shannon Aylesworth.
And here at Ursamin, for now, until Shannon tells me otherwise, we believe that people, humans, everyone make better health decisions when they have access to all of their medical information, their calendars, contact information, you name it, all in one simple, easy-to-use app.
Maybe it's changing the word from access to management, and when they like really have control of manage like access. You have access to half of your information. You just don't have access to all of it. It's really about taking control of your health.
When people have control.
Mm-hmm. People have control of their future. Outcomes become better.
That's right.
And they're part of control, part of the plan.
What I hear you saying was when people get access to Ursamin and they sign up, they're going to live forever.
That is correct. Forever.
Forever.
You're going to live forever. No, but having control, I think we all want control.
Control is a good one.
And I think especially when the problem is that people are aging, people are living longer, but sicker. And as you live longer, you tend to lose control. And we all want control of our future. And so the more control you can get and being part of that plan, I think in the past, it's been, oh my God, all of a sudden you're out of control. Most of your life is in control. And then, oops, you get sick and it's out of control. That's happening faster and faster now with all the chronic illnesses. So how do we help you get control sooner so your quality of life is higher and you live forever?
Forever and ever. Now, you and I are both golfers.
Yes. Well,
and
I golf.
I golf.
I think there's a very clear distinction between being a golfer and golf, and you golf.
I golf every day.
You are a golfer.
Yeah,
I was a golfer 5 years ago. Now I'm a hacker.
Yeah, but big news.
Fun hacker. Yeah, go ahead.
Big news in the media is that the LIV Tour and the PGA Tour, they merged, and I'm sure there's a lot of technical law things, but it all came down to this idea. And you may be wondering why we're talking about this on unlimited access, but I think there's something really important here is that the PGA Tour said they weren't going to do anything with the LIV. In fact, the players that went to the LIV were kind of cut off from forever, and it was a principled stand.
Yeah,
right. It was like, oh, well, the Saudi Arabian government, they. Somehow, some way are involved with 9/11 and the murder that
all of the history of
whatever,
women
the way they treat women,
human rights,
whatever, and granted, they are the richest people on the planet probably, and so there's a lot of other things.
They control our oil,
They control oil, and there's all this other stuff. But so there's this idea of like, the PGA Tour, we're standing on principle, and then LIV is over here, and then out of the blue, Tuesday morning, we get this, trending on Twitter type of news. And I was taken aback by it. And I wanted to first hear your thought about it. And then let's just talk about kind of some of our principles and things that we're not going to compromise. So how do you feel about the LIV PGA Tour merging?
I was surprised. I was a little disappointed because it was such a strong stance when it happened and the players were chosen. It was like two sides picking teams. It was, it's like Greg Norman that spearheaded it versus, and there's no real speaker except for Rory McIlroy has really come out as the speaker for PGA and doing what tradition says. Right. And LIV has its goals of changing the whole game of golf, which I think was needed whether they did it or not, I think there's a drop in golfing. Like you always hear about trying to get women into golf. How do you make it less of a man's game or make it more interesting to kids? I think there was probably good intentions despite who did it. But it was like, clearly PGA was a monopoly. Somebody kind of broke that. And so then they ostracized everybody. And now they're like, oh, just kidding. Let's get back together. I struggle with that probably because when I went to my high school reunion, I had so many people come up and say, you are who you are. You've never changed. I believe in, maybe the authentic is the word that you like to use, but I believe that you are who you are. People live by what you say and what you believe in. And when you change that much for money, I'm like, that's a money decision. Like, I really want to know why you would just all of a sudden, like everybody on the PGA side who talked bad about it had to now eat crow and say it's fine. Like it really goes, I guess, to the heart. For me, goes to the heart of changing and misrepresenting who you are and or making a decision because the money said so, which is what everybody was mad about in the first place with LIV was, oh, you're leaving because you'll make a whole bunch of money to do less. And everybody goes, well, yeah, wouldn't you? No, I wouldn't.
Well, and I think that's it sounds like I believe you, and I'm not saying I don't.
It sounds like I believe you, but I'm not sure.
But we're talking like billions.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what you do at that level, right?
Right, and so I'd like to think that I have these principled stands that I take.
I know.
But I've never been offered that type of money either, so I can't.
I have.
You have been offered billions.
Yeah. I was offered $1 billion to go play with LIV.
Oh, you were?
But they wanted me to, well, in general, just I've been offered deals like that before.
Okay.
And I've said no.
Well,
I wish. No, you're right. I mean, we don't know.
We don't know.
We would hope that we would be as principled, at least stand our ground with what we believe in.
Right. And I think that's kind of the point. And I think, so I'm a big fan of the game and it took me back. So I wanted to talk about some principles that we here at Ursamin stand on and things that we believe in, the things that we're not going to compromise for our customers. And the thing I think most of us, especially in the world of health, right? There's HIPAA, there's security and stuff like that. But like, what are some? I'm trying to think of Apple, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like when I use Apple products, my iCloud account, I've heard of like the FBI can't get into it. Like Apple's protecting my data that way. Is that one of like, though we don't have it written down yet, maybe this will, prompt us to start writing some of these down. But what are some of the like principles? What are some of the things that our customers guarantees that our customers will get knowing that, hey, if I subscribe to Ursamin, this is what I should expect?
You mean in that is
anything.
Part of the product? Just like the first thing I was thinking of while you were kind of gearing up for that, I didn't know how you were going to end it.
Yeah.
Is choice.
Choice.
Yeah. Like I believe in choice. I believe in choice. I believe that my mother regularly did not have a choice. And I don't think it was intentional not to be a choice. HIPAA, security, that's all to make sure that other people who are making choices on behalf of you are not exposing that choice to other people, right? It's all about, so HIPAA is, I share data with you and you have the choice of what I share. Mm-hmm. They're trying to give you third-hand choice. I believe that you should have direct decision-making power at the time that you need it. And that gives you choice. I have a choice whether I go to this doctor or that doctor. I got called the other day, and because I'm being referred to a specialist for my stomach, and they said, well, we called them, and you have this doctor already. And I go, yeah, I don't want him. I didn't explain why. There is history.
Sure.
And I just said, I don't want him. And she was like, oh. And there's a lot of things in the background. And again, I believe in choice for the providers as well, that they have choice on how they manage you and what they do for their business. And I think that's what we're trying to do, is help the providers have a choice on how they manage you as a patient, but also have you be part of that discussion. Because I've never not sat down with my doctor and come up with a plan that we believe in together with my dad. I think I've told you that. His doctor calls me the warden. I come in, we sit down, we make a plan, we go. So to me, absolute is that you have choice. That's what I want people to have with Ursamin, is choice. But you have to be presented with your choices. which is very often doesn't happen just because we're not automatically part of that process.
So would you say it's a principle or something, again, we're using the example of the LIV and the PGA, like we're not going to compromise on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there are times I think when you say I don't have a choice, and maybe that's personal to me, like when I don't have a choice, it's the most infuriating thing. So that could just be, my own personal experiences when I didn't have a choice. Like, I don't know, I guess I could give my niece a choice. You can have macaroni and cheese or you can have dog food. And she goes for macaroni and cheese every time. Lots of times that choice, lots of times I'm not saying the choices have to be perfect, but knowing what they are and being in control is, I think important to most people. So yeah, I would say we wouldn't compromise. I think if we could not give somebody a choice, we'd explain it. So for example, when you log into our app, we have to authenticate you. You don't have a choice. Mm-hmm. And we can't give you a choice because we have to know you are who you are. Levi Spires comes on, and if I just let you sign up like a bot or somebody overseas comes in and signs up as Levi Spires, I just got the email from somebody on my team today that wasn't them. You don't have a choice. You have to authenticate. Sorry, that's not a choice. But I'm at least going to explain it to you why you don't have a choice. So I do think we won't compromise on it. I think there will be times where we can't allow to have a choice just because of the world we live in, and in which case you have the right to know why.
Got it. There's uncompromising beliefs. Like, again, 9/11, we're never going to do business with the Saudis, and then all of a sudden a couple $1 billion come your way. Like, well, we're going to compromise.
I have another.
Yeah, what would be another one?
We will never sell your data. No, that's too big of one. I mean, people say that and then they don't. We really did start this with the intention that this goes back to choice, which we won't. Not that I'm not going to say we won't sell your data because we will. No, that's not. It's a really big one. Everybody promises that, but our goal was.
Just say that clear again, because I don't think it was clear the way you just said it. We are not going to sell people's data.
We will never get involved in selling data.
Correct.
Even if you approve it. We will, the way we will do it, this has always been the vision, is we will present options to you. Hey, do you want to be notified of a clinical trial? Yes.
Right.
Click if you want in.
But if I have cancer, the only people that are going to know that are me and my providers.
Whoever you want to do it. I will never allow, we never wanted to allow, there's a lot of business models that say I will get subscribers on my platform and then I will not sell your data, anonymize your data, show you reports. At some point we may do that, but we would like you to opt in. Mm-hmm. It won't be anonymized. It won't be automatically, you won't have like an opt-out button, which a lot of people do, opt out. And if you anonymize it, the goal will be that you will always, again, back to choice, you will opt in. We want to bring you resources. We want Levi to have as many resources without being inundated. You kind of choose and pick what's most important to you, and then we'll use AI to filter what you see. But then we will also say, listen, if you want to opt into a trial so we'll partner, but it won't be where we make that decision. So I guess that again goes back to choice, which is, hey, who will say? You really have to look at the business models on that one because some business models are funded by different groups to use that data to get better results. In the end of the day, it's for the cause of health.
Right.
So I don't think there's any malintentioned people.
Okay.
We just don't want our business model to be that because it's about trust.
So choice is one. There'll be options, right? Mm-hmm. As long as there's possibility, we're going to give as many options as possible.
Yep.
And then the second one is more of decision. Like you're gonna get the choice, i.e., the decision with your data and the way you're going to interact.
What's most important to you? What's most important? You'll get to decide. Yeah. And trust. We want trust. It's all about trust because if you're going to trust us to go work on behalf of you, then you have to trust us. And how do we, and I would hope never in our future that we say, okay, anything that's going to even question that trust.
Well, there was a part to the PGA LIV thing that I think that was most disconcerting is this idea of trust, right? And you think about Rory McIlroy, he stuck his neck out. He agreed with the PGA principled stand, and yet he finds out the same way that we all find out that by the way,
think about the trust.
They put him on stage and they told him, and he
fought for them,
and then behind his back,
he said he found out like just before the rest of us did.
The rest of us did.
Could you imagine? I've had that happen. I have had that happen to me in the past. And it was a business decision. And they can't tell you up until that point.
Right.
So what do you end up doing? You end up muting your voice a little bit and not being as dramatic about your opinions. And you learn to be a little bit smarter about saying, listen, I know that things change.
Right.
Absolutely. Things change. But.
All right. Well, those are two really good ones. And I don't think we have to have more per se, but is there anything else that was nagging you about like a belief, a principled stand that Shannon is taking on behalf of Ursamin?
No, I mean, no, they all come back to choice and trust. I mean, the rest of it, principles, it's really goes back to the mission, which we keep saying. What's the mission? Is to bring providers and patients closer together, better health, and it all comes down to what's the foundation to that is giving choice and trust between the two. Okay. I'll probably think of more for the next session.
There you go. Well,
or later, right as soon as you hit off, it's going to be like, oh no, that one.
Well, we can always record another one. But we at Ursamin believe that people should play more golf.
Correct.
And that when you have not access, but you have, what was the word I wrote down? Hold on.
Insight, control,
choice over your medical things. You can be a part of better.
You become a better patient. Your provider's happier. They love patients that come in with like hey, here's what I want to go. They don't like the argumentative ones. Please don't do that. And they do like the ones who come in well-informed,
but not talking too much. This is a balance. Okay, well, thank you so much, Shannon.
Thank you so much. Bye.